evil genius. We'll turn the volume up, people. Get ready. It's time for the Cave Sports. I'm your host, Anastasia, and I am joined each week to talk football and social topics with the greatest co-host on the island of Hawaii, the evil genius, Mr. Pepper himself. Welcome.
That's right. Hi. I'm so happy to be here. I'm living my best life today. We got this. Just happy.
Well, we wanted to wish him a very happy birthday today.
That's right.
He's an old man.
25. I'm feeling sexy at 25. like you just mentioned with all this gray hair.
That's what I told him. I said you have entirely too much premature gray, but he's like Anderson
25.
Cooper.
Yeah, 25 plus 16, but whatever. Let y'all work out the math. I've actually had gray hair since college. I would like to blame the members, my big brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated for helping my hair turn gray during a educational inspirational process of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It was
Initiation.
Great. Yes.
Well, I'm a member of Pi Beta Phi. Mine wasn't as crazy, and I think it's because most of my sorority sisters were not black, and therefore they were probably a little terrified of me. And my big sister was a little scary too. So that combination, I was good. I smooth sailing.
That's nice. Good for you. If you look on any NFL roster right now, you'll find 2 to 4 Qs on there. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I was dealing with. Yeah.
I'm sure. A little bit different.
Yeah.
Well, definitely wish him a happy birthday. Make sure you guys jump on our social and do that. As always, we're going to cover hot topics and sports entertainment today. We're going to talk about the top 10 power rankings, notable injuries, and of course, our upset and sure thing picks of the week. You can catch The Cave every Thursday morning. Make sure to follow us for updates on Facebook and Instagram. Cave Sports at Facebook, and then Cave Sports Podcast on Instagram. But you can also download us now. Well, follow us, I guess, on YouTube at Cave Sports TV. You can actually subscribe and click the little notification bell, and it will alert you every single time we upload a new video for you to listen to. Or if you find yourself, to be a podcast expert, feel free to download our podcast, The Cave Sports, on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, Google Play. Yep.
I like YouTube. I got to get back into to my YouTube channel. That's where I all started at.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I watch a ton of YouTube, maybe because I'm obsessed with like those seafood boil mukbang videos, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, but they are just highly entertaining to me. And especially if I'm like, not if I'm hungry, but if I'm trying not to like eat a lot of food, if I watch a video, it's like I feel like I ate it myself. So
I don't comprehend that, but go okay.
You have to watch it. You have to be a person that watches them to understand. But it's a hilarious thing, and I never thought that I would be someone that would be even interested in something like that. But I love them. It's so weird. We all have our thing. That's mine.
That is very true. We all do have our thing.
Oh, God. Well, anyway, we're going to start off with our upsets of the week. There are some pretty interesting games this week. I'm kind of excited. I think that I can tell I do like a pick six league every week. And usually by this point, at least somebody has won at least one of the weeks. Like the pot doesn't typically roll over this many weeks.
Yeah.
And nobody has been able to pick these games because it's been so unpredictable. And when we go over the power rankings soon, I mean, you'll understand that. There's just so much movement going on, and you really can't predict who's going to be able to successfully cover these spreads. It's very difficult to do. So even if we get any of our picks right, I'm happy for us, because I just feel like they're almost next to impossible to predict right now, which is interesting. Keeps the league fun.
Yeah, it has been like neither one of us has been able to break 500 on a particular week. And the bottom 5 of the top 10 every week has switched out almost every time.
Yeah, consistently.
So,
well, as I was looking at to see what was going to be my upset game of the week, I'm just going to go out on a limb this week, and I'm just going to take Indianapolis over New England. It's a 10-point spread right now, probably 9.5 for some people.
ESPN was showing 10.5 this morning.
Either way, it's a big spread, and I'm gonna. I feel like I was actually watching a few people say this, and I remember kind of talking about it myself too, but with Andrew Luck, he's kind of one of those quarterbacks that I don't want to say he's underestimated, but I think people forget about him because he doesn't really make much noise, and he isn't like somebody that's overly entertaining. He's just consistent. So I think people forget how talented he really is, and because he was basically MIA for what was felt like almost 2 years, almost 2 seasons, because he was out entire last season, and then like maybe the second half of the season before that.
Yeah, he's been hurt a while.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of new blood coming in and a lot of big personalities, and he just kind of is one of those in between. Like if you were to do a personality scale, he's like a flatliner to me. He just doesn't go either way. And I think he's gotten lost in the shuffle. And I think some of these spreads pertaining to Indianapolis has more so to do with the coaching situation and less to do with really the actual talent.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Of course you are.
But
you have to.
But I don't have to. But yeah. I'm going to disagree with you there. But I'll get into my reasons later. We'll just go ahead and go with my upset pick. Now, last time I picked these guys for the upset pick, they upset me and didn't cover. But I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna give your team one last chance. I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Well,
right.
For your pick, they might not have, but for my spread last week, they did. So, according to my spread. First of all, you picked them during the Chiefs game, right? Didn't you pick them as your upset?
No, I picked them a couple weeks ago when they went on the road against Baltimore and they got their asses.
Oh, okay, correct. Okay,
yes.
I thought it was last week that you did it.
Yeah,
okay.
No. Last week I went with the Chiefs to cover by 5, and they covered by 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here I am trying to give you props. Well, you know.
Yeah. No, the last time I picked y'all to be the upset special, y'all was supposed to cover by 6 to Baltimore, and you didn't. But I'm going to give you one more chance. This week, they have you guys losing by 1.
Oh, mine doesn't say that. So my spread has us over the Jets by 3. So
really?
Maybe that's changed. But
yeah, because I'm looking right here at ESPN, like right now live, and it's showing Jets -1.
So these picks are literally just from yesterday, or these spreads that I have are literally just from yesterday. So that's a big change from yesterday to today.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but but they've got you guys winning now.
Yeah. When I picked the spread yesterday, it was because I do my pick 6 every day, and it had us by 3. But now you saying you're looking at it and it has us losing?
It has the Jets -1 now.
I mean, that's basically even.
Yeah, and that was like, what?
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. You had to send me your spreadsheets for what we're rolling with for this week.
I go by whatever you do for when you do our add-ups, but when I'm picking like my upsets or whatever. But yeah, okay. Yeah. Now that you say that, I think that's I don't know. I mean, you know what's so funny is I don't like to bet against my Broncos, but I'm going to tell you right now, and that game I watched, first off, if I have one more X, if I'm not with you anymore, don't communicate with me, especially to only communicate with me to talk shit about my team. I just don't understand that. I don't know why you felt like that was a pass. But when I tell you, oh my God, I got it was like multiple messages, and I'm like, is this like the only way you could get me back? So you just felt the need to message me, send me video clips. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Personal question: was this multiple messages from the same person, or was this multiple exes?
Multiple exes.
like all your exes was just like, correct. We gonna get her. They on Monday Night Football tonight. We getting her.
Correct. Multiple.
Now, that's funny.
Multiples.
That's funny.
I was like, is this for real? Like,
I'm always roll with comedic value factor. Now, now if it was just one ex just hitting you up constantly, I'm like, okay, that's stalkerish. He's trying to get back in the game. But this is multiple exes from around the nation all hitting you up.
Yes.
That's just funny.
Yes. That was how and then like, you know, anytime I go to because I go to Scottsdale at my Bronco bar to watch the game, and I always lift there and left back because you're drinking, obviously. And I get in the car on the way back, and the guy is I swear that somebody set him up, you know, because I get in the car and the first thing he asks me is, "Oh, who won the game?" I mean, it's still stinging, okay?
Yeah.
It hasn't run off. And so I had to answer him, and then he kept proceeding to ask me more questions. And he's like, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Our quarterback was terrible." And that's all I said now. And then I was silent. I think he could tell at that point, maybe I should leave her the hell alone. But I'm like, why are you, I'm like, I just told you we lost, and you think I want to sit here and discuss with you?
And recap it.
I don't need a recap. So it was hilarious, but I just...
For your comfort, I Lyft drive in between gigs and stuff. And for your comfort, I get the same thing on a consistent basis. If anyone ever starts talking football, everyone always has to tell me how horrible the Bengals are. First of all,
and they're not a horrible team.
Yeah. I had to shut a guy down the other day. He was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are having another shitty season."
No, they're not. Actually,
I'm like, you're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention at all. They're not having horrible. And honestly, we're not having a horrible season either. But what that game showed me is it basically exposed Case Keenum to be a glorified backup. He is no more than a Nick Foles.
Yeah.
In disguise. He is a Fitzpatrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually those types of people get exposed. And I think we should have known better. I love Elway, but he is not... He's 0 for a million as far as choosing a quarterback.
Just choosing his
Peyton Manning was an anomaly, okay? He was already a Super Bowl champion by the time you got him, okay? That does not count. Everybody else, all his draft picks have been a wash. Anybody he's brought in has been a wash. He has been terrible. And now we're seeing we paid this dude all this money, $18 million a year, for him to come in, have no peripheral vision, moving as slow as Peyton Manning did his last year before he retired. The man threw maybe 5 balls past 10 yards. He was completely spooked, and he literally blew a completely wide open pass to our number 1 wide receiver to win the game. And I knew that last drive when we only kicked a field goal and went up by 10, I told everybody then, I said, we're about to lose this. I was like, we needed a touchdown. Nobody wanted to listen. Everybody's cheering, excited, doing backflips and cartwheels. And I'll be damned if we did not lose by 4 points. Because I knew Case Keenum could not close it. I knew he could not do it.
Yeah, I love my daughter, but because of my daughter and my weekly time that she spends with me, I don't often get to watch too much of the Monday Night Football games. So
it was a great game.
I was keeping track on the phone, and I got to catch all the highlights and everything, and
no comparison to the actual game.
Yeah,
Mahomes literally, that kid was a star. I mean,
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Like,
from what I can tell, that dude is the real deal.
He made plays that no quarterback. I don't think any quarterback that I have seen in a very long time, and the closest would be an Aaron Rodgers, maybe a Russ Wilson, maybe that was able to make some of the plays that this dude did. It was phenomenal to watch, even though it was my team that had to
take the L.
Take it. To see how composed he was, and I think some people were I don't want to say necessarily sleeping on him, but there was so much attention on these new rookies, and I'm like, you do realize this dude just technically took this team all the way over this year, right? Like, he's basically might as well be a rookie, like that's basically what we're looking at, and he's playing like he's been in the league for 7-10 years. It was crazy.
Well, see, that's what I keep saying with all these guys that they keep drafting back in the deal. And it's like, oh, he's NFL ready. And it's just like, that's great. Still make him sit down until week 12 when your team is done.
Right.
Let him learn. He needs that curve factor.
Because the game's fast.
Yeah, toss them into the fire. Like, no, no, week one we got them, and then 3 years later, these dudes are gone.
Yeah. Oh, I
Just
know. I totally get it.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I would love for your pick to be right as far as Denver for the upset over the Jets. Like I'm just
yeah,
saying, Case Keenum was just really exposed to me, and that had left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm hoping that maybe they will take that energy into that game against the Jets and like maybe hush some naysayers up. I would love to be shut up. I honestly would. I don't think I will be, but I would love to be.
yeah. Well, my because I always look at a couple of things. My backup game is I'm not sure about the Cardinals came out and they played hard the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I looked at that game too.
And they're right now they've got what's showing me is San Fran by 4, and yeah, I'm not buying that without I'm just not buying that one.
I went
right
back
yet.
and forth on it. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. San Francisco didn't look that bad, to be honest with you. And I'm
Yeah,
just
I
not
thought
convinced about Arizona.
Yeah, I thought. Well, see, the thing is, I thought San Fran was going to just be at a total collapse
Right.
without Garoppolo.
And they're not.
And they played very well last week.
Correct.
So
that says a lot.
But yeah, but I did get a chance to catch a lot of that Cards game, and they're just lacking of a little bit of it of getting it together. But I think that Rosen kid is going to put them in the right direction eventually.
Now, why was Bradford not dressed? Is he hurt?
I think he tore a thumbnail. I think he tore a thumbnail. He was playing. Yeah, they was playing Madden, and and he got a hangnail. And then when you cut it too close with the Theo, and yeah. So
I want America to look at the fact that this dude still has a job and Colin Kaepernick is not on a team. Okay, like I want you to seriously look at that.
Yeah.
Because that right there.
The thing about him is he is deadly accurate, but he cannot move whatsoever.
And he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Yeah. Even if you can be accurate all day long, but if I can't keep you out on the field for more than a couple games before you hurt yourself, that's a problem. He can't stay healthy.
He is true Fifth Element, fragile. Fragile.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully you guys will be watching the games this week and you could check out our upsets. Like I said, I'm going to take Indy over New England. And the misunderstood one says he's going to take Denver. So
I'm going to take your Broncos.
All right. I'm cool with that. All right, you guys. Well, we kind of touched on the difference of the power rankings and how the bottom 5 has substantially, or not substantially, but continuously changed. And that has not stopped this week. I saw there were huge changes to the top 10. Only ones that stayed the same were the Rams and Chiefs at top, and they're the only 2 undefeated teams left. Unfortunately, that shouldn't be, but but as far as the rest of the power rankings, we have the Jags sitting at 3, the Saints at 4, Panthers at 5. Why the Panthers are at 5 at 2 and 1? I'm sorry, I'm still confused.
Well, they didn't lose. They didn't lose last week because they were on the bye.
But 2 and 1.
Yeah,
you're still 2 and 1. You still have not won as many games as the Bengals. You have the Patriots at 6.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
Well, the Patriots are at 6, which of course they'd find a way to move them up 7 slots. Of course they did. And then the Bengals are at 7. You have the Bears up at 8, which they should totally be in the top 10. And then you have the Packers at 9, Ravens at 10.
Yeah. Now I will say I'm cool with the Panthers at 5. They did beat the Bengals. So I'm okay with them being above the Bengals on the deal. I think they got lucky last week because they did have a bye, but I'm all right with that.
I'm putting the Bears before the Panthers. I'm sorry. That defense.
Yeah. Khalil Mack is the truth.
And I tried to tell people when we spent a lot of time talking about Trubisky last season. We're going to have to get the other cousin on the line again. So
you were on the Trubisky bandwagon. You were. I
don't think it was a bandwagon because my dad is a Bears fan, so I have literally been forced to watch the Bears my entire life. But I will say that the Polish powerhouse is what I titled him. But what I thought about him is, as we looked at at Bears history and how they've never really had a superstar, amazing quarterback. And then they brought in Cutler, who I still thought was not a superstar. But nonetheless, the only goal was that they didn't turn the ball over. And that's one thing that Trubisky does really well is he's not a big ball turnover. Like he doesn't really turn the ball over that much. And then if he decides to get a wild hair up his ass and throw that ball in the air and be successful, I mean, it's all you wrote. Like, we didn't even need him to do all that. We just needed him to not turn the ball over. But now he wants to act like he can ball on top of it, on top of the defense. That's a deadly combo.
That Mac trade was brilliant.
Yeah, their top running back barely ran.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know. He was on my fantasy. I was irritated.
And Tampa Bay shook again. And then Jameis Winston came back in, and then they looked all right again.
Yeah.
But it was by then you already down by 45.
Correct.
It's a wrap in NFL.
So what are they? So I'm wondering what they're going to do with that, dude. Like, what's going to happen with that? Because they had this whole Fitz magic, blah blah blah. Obviously we saw that run out because we've seen that run out before with him. And now you have Jameis. So what are they going to do? Be a shootout during practice? Like, I don't know. That's going to be a story to watch, that Tampa situation.
Very true. I think it's got to go back to Jameis when you look at the second half of that game.
Yeah. Is it an anomaly though? Is it because when they played, the Packers? I mean, granted, Fitzpatrick did have a lot of turnovers that game. Didn't he have? What did he have? Like 2, 3?
Against the Steelers, yeah, he had 3.
Was it the Steelers? I thought it was the Packers.
Yeah,
Steelers.
No, it was the Steelers.
That's right. Yeah, so he had like 2 or 3 against the Steelers, but he came back, and got close in that game. So I don't know. Yeah. I like to be a fly on the wall in those offices.
Yeah, I think in that Steelers game, a couple of his turnovers were tips, though.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that happen. Like I'm used to Andy Dalton throwing an interception a game.
Right.
It's scheduled. Scheduled. That's fine. But anytime he has multiple ones, it's somebody, it just fell off their face or some kind of deal. So.
Well, Andrew Luck, he's one of those types of dudes that's good for a couple.
Yeah. Yep. But as far as the bottom 5 goes, I'm almost okay with it. I think the Packers should be up above the Bengals and the Patriots. I think they should be at 6.
Oh, okay.
I think the Bengals should still be above the Patriots, so they should be at 7. And then the rest I'm cool with.
Okay.
Up in there. So.
Yeah, I definitely think the Bengals should be above the Patriots. Just irritates me how they just get that pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last week they were out of it, and now they're up 6 spots by beating who?
Now they were undefeated. I mean, Miami was undefeated. So I get it, I think that at least allows for them to get back into the power rankings, but to move them all the way up to 6, I think that's slightly disrespectful.
Yeah, agreed.
So definitely let us know what you guys think of the power rankings. Like we said, the top 2 aren't going to change. And I don't know, after that game, after that comeback by Mahomes, I'm sorry, I might put him at number 1 just watching that. Because I really haven't seen Goff be challenged the way that Mahomes was. You have to realize, this man was in high altitude, down by 10, in Bronco country. That is a very hostile place to play.
Yeah, but Goff... He balled out last week.
Oh, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't ball out, but I'm saying, has he been challenged to that point? I don't know.
No.
I'm saying that's what I'm talking about, the challenge of it. So that's why I would, bump the Chiefs up. But I would have to say the Kansas City defense to me wasn't that spectacular.
Yeah.
And I think our run game showed that. And I think the only reason why their pass coverage was okay was because our quarterback was spooked. But I otherwise, I think that would have been exposed too. Because I think a lot of their games to me have been shootouts.
He's got such a great quarterback name, though. Case Keenum.
Oh, he does. It sounds fabulous.
It's all.
That's about all. He might as well have been called Gunner at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
one of those.
Where's old Colt
Colt
McCoy at?
McCoy at, right? Man, Colt had the
That's
name though, didn't
that's
he?
the greatest name of any
Oh,
QB. Like
where
he
is
had no
where
choice
is
when he
Colt?
showed up.
Where's Colt doing? Coach in high school or
No, actually, I think he might be the Bengals backup.
is he?
I think he might be. No joke.
Wow, I just haven't heard that name in so long.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting because you
But that's
guys
right.
pick guys
That's
with good names. AJ McCarron, like Colt McCoy,
yeah. But that guy had no choice but to play quarterback when he first showed up to Pop Warner. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's you."
Yeah, he had a quarterback name.
Yeah,
Before I have kids, I'm gonna have to start really thinking about that. Like if their names are called out in the lineup, I need the
yeah,
kid with the awesome name.
yeah. True, true. But that actually speaks even more to your point that you were making earlier. Guys like Colt McCoy have a job in the NFL.
Correct. And I don't even remember that he was playing in the NFL.
Exactly. But Kaepernick does not.
But hey, what do we know?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, we're of course going to cover fantasy sit and start. I know a lot of us have fantasy leagues out there. I'm in a couple paid leagues this year, and it's interesting to me because there were some sleepers that nobody paid attention to. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. I doubt anybody was running to pick him up. I thankfully got Philip Lindsay in one of mine, and I've seen him on a ton of lists of people are like that dude. Because he's definitely far exceeding what they are projecting him to do each week. So some pickups like that. But this week I wanted to focus on defenses because I know in both my leagues we can add a defense, which can for a lot of us make or break whether or not we win a game, win a match. So my suggestion is for people to sit the Washington defense. If you happen to have them, I'd switch them out. They are sitting really close, about 2 up from the bottom of the list in the league. They only have 1 interception on the year, first off, and they're facing against Drew Brees, so we all know that he's going to put that ball in the air.
Yep.
So the odds of them intercepting that are probably pretty slim to none, which means that he's going to shoot. It's not going to be a shootout. It's just going to be a showdown. It's going to be a show out. It's going to be a show out is what it's going to be.
Yeah. I see that game. I see that game going exactly like the Giants game did last week.
Yeah.
33-10.
Yeah. I just don't see Washington having the pass coverage to challenge the Saints. That's just basically what I see. So that's my suggestion as far as sit Washington. And then I go ahead and start the Jacksonville defense. They're playing Kansas City this week. And I'm saying that because I felt that Denver really was able to kind of show, unless you're like having like a miracle moment, which some of those plays that occurred that Mahomes was able to make happen shouldn't have never happened in any lifetime. I mean, it was literally like bouncing off somebody into somebody's hands to get a first down. It was just craziness, like the stuff should never happen. But it showed that Mahomes can be contained in the red zone. That is exactly what I witnessed. He threw for over 300 yards. He only came away with 1 passing touchdown. This man was averaging 3+ passing touchdowns in the prior 3 games. Blake Bortles is who I still think is suspect, but he has been playing the best football of his life, highly consistent right now, which means that I feel like offensively he can keep up with Kansas City. So if that Jacksonville defense is on their job, I think that they could probably take some tips from what Denver did and really be able to contain Mahomes when it gets to the red zone. Because he's going to get to the red zone. It's just whether or not he's going to walk away with a field goal or a touchdown.
Yeah. The Kansas City is just so
dynamic.
So that, but wishy-washy at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I can see them jumping out on Jacksonville big early and then just letting Jacksonville grind right back into it like they always do.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how to call that game.
Yeah.
I don't trust either defense in it though. For my fantasy D's first I'll give my fantasy sleeper was a homer pick was Giovanni Bernard. Everyone was just like 15th round. Why are you even with? Oh, you're such a homer. You're going with the Bengals guy. He's the backup. He's not even going to do nothing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at his last 2 weeks, and there you go. For the fantasy start, I would start Carolina.
All right.
I forget. In fact, let's look back over here. Sorry, I got these screens open. The Giants are toast. I'm sorry.
Well, they're gonna throw some picks.
If the New Orleans Saints hold you to 10 points and you at home,
right?
The New Orleans Saints held you to 10 points at home. No. So I would start the Panthers defense all day right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for sit downs, if you happen to have Atlanta or Pittsburgh, sit them.
Yeah.
They're playing each other. It's going to be 65-64.
It's going to be a shootout. Yep. Basically just like Atlanta, New Orleans, same scenario.
Yeah.
Just sit them both. Because that kid, Matt Ryan, he gonna put some points on the board.
Yep.
A lot of them.
Yep, and Ben's gonna throw for 500 yards.
Yes.
Again, in a losing effort, probably.
And lose,
but yeah. We need research people to give us who's thrown the most 500-yard touch or games with still losing. And I promise you, it's Ben Roethlisberger.
That's why I need a show on ESPN, because you actually have some stats people in the back that you can ask those random questions to.
Yeah.
Like, can you find out how many, you could, I really wish I had a team like that. Like, life would be so fun. I would ask them the most random questions. Just like I was like, sometimes when I'm bored, I do stuff like that. Like when I looked up the cheerleaders that wear cowboy boots, like if that's part of their uniform, how successful are those teams if their cheerleaders have a cowboy theme for their attire? And those combined teams have won like more Super Bowls, I guess, than like on average than any other team. Is like the Colts, the Broncos, the Cowboys. It's like only a few teams though.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like the teams that had a cowboy theme with their cheerleaders tend to have a higher Super Bowl success rate.
That's interesting.
So random. I know. The more you know.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, I'm curious to think who you guys are going to sit and start for fantasy. I did start Goff last week, so thank you. He definitely helped me to secure the W. So appreciate you, sir. Continue. Do it again. You're playing Seattle. Their defense is garbage. So...
Especially now.
Yes, so you should be successful, which we will be talking about why they're going to be garbage. Currently, our topic of the day is holding out for money. Should you risk injury or hold out for the check? And as the lovely Pepper alluded to, safety Earl Thomas from the Seattle Seahawks suffered that casualty of actually playing, did risk injury, broke his tibia. He's out for the season. And if you guys watched that game or watched any highlights from that game, you do recognize that he did flip his entire team off as they carted him off.
Yeah. which is hilarious. It was a borderline WTF moment for me.
Yeah.
but I decided to go in a different route. But yeah, it does get an honorable mention. I've seen locker room fights. I've seen fights in in the field or, in practice, teams just getting at each other and just angry offense versus defense or whatever. I've never even heard of somebody just on national TV just being like, fuck all y'all.
Right.
Everybody on my squad right now. I hate y'all.
Well, people have been saying, why is Le'Veon Bell being difficult? Why, and this is why, because you could literally be one play away, as we saw Eifert, which that was the most gruesome injury I've seen in a minute. He can't stay healthy either, and that's even more devastating for him just because he finally was out there, and to see him go out like that, to see that foot turn all the way around, that's why these players hold out.
Same thing happened to Delaney Walker week 1.
It's disgusting. And I think people don't realize this is such a gruesome sport. And they don't have the guaranteed contracts that you have in like the NFL and the MLB. And they don't have those types of contracts. So if they can't play, they can't make money. And their paychecks are substantially smaller than these other leagues. And so I don't understand why people are so enamored or so baffled that these players would want to sit out until they are guaranteed the money that they have earned. They worked hard to get to these points. Pay them.
All anybody has to look at, as we're talking about stats, all anybody has to look at is the death rates from NFL players from the 80s and 90s,
right,
versus any other professional athlete. These dudes don't make it to 60 because of the wear and tear they put on themselves out there.
Oh, yeah.
Get your check.
I'm telling you.
Get your check.
I did it again.
Get
it was
your
like
check.
in his, he's in his 50s now, probably like close to mid 50s. And I met him when he was around like 40, 47 or so. And he'd played about a good 10 years in the league. And he was in amazing shape. I mean, he worked out consistently. And even then, the man walked like he'd just been hit with a baseball bat in both kneecaps every day.
Yeah.
So that just told me, and he's very forgetful. You know, different things like that. So it's like, I hate to see him go out like that. And you notice that even Pete Carroll defended him and was like, look, that's a very emotional moment. You know, you have to understand the circumstances with that. I don't think that team took it personally. I think honestly they were like, yeah, dude, we get you. Like,
yeah.
At least they didn't pull a Vontae Davis and retire.
Yeah.
At halftime, that chump.
Yeah, there's been some shenanigans this year. But yeah, I'm not mad at these dudes holding out for their money. Especially in the case of Le'Veon Bell, because of the pounding that running backs take, that I know of firsthand. And the fact that the Steelers were just setting him up to dumping. They just keep putting him on these franchise tags so that, okay, well, now he's hurt. Oh yeah, now we can't sign you to long term, so now you're a free agent anyway. And he said, you know what? Well, I'm just gonna be sitting here.
Yep.
So,
because I was smart with my money, and so therefore, because I was smart with my money, you're not about to bully and punk me and just showing up.
I'll see you guys week 8.
Which is why Thomas went in, because he's like, I can't afford to take the hit.
Yeah.
You know. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's still fighting for one more contract. Bell's pretty much assured he'll get at least one more big contract in the league.
Right.
But Thomas is definitely on his last contract.
Right.
So and people don't realize that to get 3 contracts in the NFL is huge. That's an anomaly. That does not happen. Most of these guys are out of the league in under 3 years. So to get that 3rd contract is huge. Like, you know, people complain about the big names and that kind of deal, but
because that means you had a rookie contract, you were able to stick around beyond the rookie deal to get your second, considered to be payday contract, and then you were able to stick it out even beyond that to get a more like a secondary contract, unless you are a phenomenal superstar, you know, quarterback or maybe receiver or something, where you're, you know, or maybe even like a O lineman or something, where you're going to get, you know, an even bigger payday.
But so you're looking at a minimum of 8 years in the league then. Right. So which is twice the amount of what the league norm is, 3 to 4 years.
Right. Correct.
So you've already doubled the average. You're an anomaly. So people act like, oh, these guys are all spoiled and all this kind of deal. They are not. No. By any means.
It's definitely tough. It's a tough sport, and I don't know. Just appreciate the players more. Like, I think that, you know, as fans, sometimes you can be very dismissive, and you don't realize, like, I mean, you've worked this is a lot of years for a lot of these players to get that they've invested to get to this point, and their families invest too because they don't see them. So, got to think about that. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting topic because you basically saw play out what Le'Veon Bell was basically saying is why he's not going to be out there. And you saw it play out, and you saw it negatively impact a player. I mean, you saw it firsthand. So you can't really argue with the man after you saw it happen.
Oh, sure you can. You can always argue and be wrong.
All right, people, we're getting towards the end of our show, so we're going to be moving on to one of my favorite, which is the cave conquering moment of the week.
Girls, we run this mother. Girls, we
cave conquering moment of the week.
Girls, we run this mother.
actually wanted to focus on the Women's Sports Film Festival. It actually happened last week. I believe it was like the 27th through 29th. But anyway, all the films focus around women in sports, which I think is phenomenal because women obviously do not get the same platform when it comes to sports or sports entertainment. So to have an entire festival dedicated to women in sports and just have films surrounding their stories, I think is huge. So I believe the website is womensportsfestival.org. So definitely check them out. I'm sure a lot of those films will be released, probably streamed or something like that. But definitely inspiration if you have a team of girls, especially if you coach young women. I'm sure there's a ton of inspirational clips and movies and videos you can show them from there.
Yeah. Dope. Yeah, I had no clue about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. I'm happy for the ladies. I like women's sports for obvious reasons.
Oh Lord, he watches lingerie football. That's it.
No, I do not. That shit is dumb. Sorry.
I'm just like, if I was a woman and I had the body to rock lingerie in public like that, why would I want to put my body on the line and have like scrapes and scars all over my body in the grass? Why?
Yeah, their pads don't even fit properly, and it's just dumb. That's dumb.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
I just why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I love you ladies, but come on.
Yeah, I do like watching the WNBA and trying to figure out who looks cute in a dress.
Some do.
Yes, and I love women's golf.
And with that, I'm interrupting him because he's going on a tangent, and we're just not going to go there with him.
Fine.
Pepper, give us a WTF moment of the week.
The WTF, what the fuck moment of the week goes in direct contradiction to your upset special of the week, with Indianapolis at 10 points against the Patriots. How does an NFL football coach, you're at the top of your profession, you're at the top of your coaching game, that's what coaches strive to do, from Pop Warner to high school to college, to work through all those ranks. Even in college, half the coaches don't get paid, but to work through all those ranks to get all the way up to become an NFL head coach and then make the dumbass decisions that you did last week at the end of that game. For those that don't know, so Indianapolis is in overtime against Houston, and there's about 2-3 minutes left in overtime, and it's looking like both teams are just going to run out of time. We're going to have another tie. So while on their own 45-yard line, instead of punting the ball away, they decide to go for it on fourth down, giving the Houston Texans the ball in their territory. And all they had to do was get 20 yards to kick a field goal and win the game. So guess what happened? They went 20 yards, kicked a field goal, and won the game. That is insane to me. I know we're not supposed to use the word anymore, but you have to for this instance. That was retarded. Just plain retarded. He literally just gave the game away to the Houston Texans under the premise of, well, I didn't want another tie. You don't play to tie. You also don't play to lose, you dumb shit. And for Indianapolis to go to the New England on a shortened week. Now, to beat New England anytime, you have to have superior coaching. Mm-hmm. And even if it's not superior coaching, you have to have superior players and good enough coaching to even hang close with them. But to go to them on a short week in their home, you have to have man genius above and beyond coaching to even have a chance at that.
Right.
And the dumb shit that he just did on Sunday shows the antithesis of that. So I think Indianapolis has no chance whatsoever tomorrow night against the Patriots because of their leadership at the top. Just plain and simple.
Well, we have seen some interesting decisions by the Colts and honestly by their front office, and even how they handled the Peyton Manning issue, which everybody was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, they had to take luck. Everybody's like, he's coming out of Stanford, and certainly Manning was not about to sit benched him. But it cost him a Super Bowl because he came to Denver and won it, and now they're kind of running into issues with luck and his health, which I think he's better now, but just not enough components there to make it successful. They got rid of Chuck. They wanted to blame Chuck for everything. And now we're here.
Yeah, and they haven't been playing bad all season.
No.
They're
just inconsistent.
They're right on the brink of some good stuff. But just last week's move was just the most disturbing thing I'd ever. It's like he had Houston to win by 3 and was just like, shit, if this goes to a tie, I'm gonna lose my house. All right, here's the ball on 4th down. like that was like I bet against my own team kind of moment. Like I just, that is inexplicable how you do that at the end of a game.
Right.
Sorry. Especially to be in the position where they pay you millions of dollars to make those tough decisions. That was not a tough decision. That was okay, we punt, we pin them behind their 20 and play this thing out. We still got 2 minutes. A tie is better than handing them the ball almost already in damn near field goal range.
Well, you can join our club of bonehead coach decisions because we've got Vance Joseph. So, they can join the club.
No, well, he ain't done nothing that dumb.
Okay, because I've seen a few plays, but we don't have the time or the space to list them all off. With that being said, thank you so much for the WTF moment of the week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Thursday's game. Who's playing Thursday?
That's the game.
New England. That's right. That's
Game.
Okay.
England and
so I'm taking Indianapolis. That's my pick. So, and you were taking. Are you taking Indy or are you
I'm taking the Patriots.
Okay. So.
I think they're gonna cover. I think they're gonna destroy them dudes.
All right.
It's embarrassing.
All right.
And
Well,
as much as I love to see New England lose, but yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, you would want them to. I would love an AFC powerhouse to not be a powerhouse, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Cave Sports and Cave Sports Podcast. I, of course, am your amazing host, Anastasia.
Yes, and I am Pepper, the misunderstood evil genius, everybody's favorite crazy cousin, the most powerful comedian in the universe.
I'll just never get used to his long-ass outro. And this is The Cave. You have entered The Cave with Anastasia and the misunderstood evil genius.